Yes, we're going to go through um, a Pilates Qigong mix. So basically we're taking a nice Qigong motion. It's called bear pushing the wall. Funny name, there's a little bit of history, goes back to the Han Dynasty, about say 206 to 220 BC. The bear was quite an influential sort of animal in the sort of folklore, mysticism in Chinese culture. They used to have like sort of totem poles. It was in a lot of their art, jade objects, in a lacquer work, or in their poetry. In a lot of bronze mirrors, you see it in built the bears. In Feng Shui, they believe like in the sort of best way to explain it is the metaphysical way of explaining it, of the metaphor of the bear would be like a strong, courageous animal which can push over objects, basically. So that's where the sort of name, a little bit of history of the name comes from. And you know, they'd have it at the front of the house, it's like protection, etc. Bit like, the best way to explain it is a bit like sort of Ganesha in like the Hindu mythology, where it's overcoming obstacles, etc. And it's very sort of similar-ish in this Chinese mythology, the bear. So again, it doesn't really matter. It's nothing. It looks nothing like a bear, I don't think. But again, it's just a name. Bear pushing the wall. In the Qigong, the traditional Qigong, it believes like this: the twisting motions will help stimulate the internal organs, like the kidneys, internal organs, etc. Which it will, yeah, because you know that's got to happen, whether you believe it or not. So they go into more meridians and stuff like that, and they breathe into the belly like a balloon. But I'm just taking the movement and putting it into a Pilates setup with the breathing. I'm going to go really, always go deep into the breathing, then I'll just add the movement. But I would modify in the Pilates style. It's generally done in a horse stance, wide stance and deep, but you don't have to go that deep. If you're really cropped up, you know, really bad injuries, yeah, because people don't realise that people can be really badly injured. That's where Pilates is great. That's why I'm a believer of it. So again, this might be not sort of simple starter. Make it as easy or as hard as you like, basically. But I'll go for the modifications of that. But what I'm going to do is go in and just go with the breathing. The opposite breathing to the traditional. I'm going to do the traditional for all these on another video, but I'm going to go into the breathing. So, and then mix the movement in. A modified movement, basically, different levels. So, stand naturally for now. Okay, Shazam posture, natural, relaxed. While you're there, we're going to zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals. Take your navel towards your spine and zip up pelvic floor. You can't do one without the other, basically. I'll go into more detail with that as we get going. But again, even if you just zipped up pelvic floor, that would also throw on your corset. If you throw on your corset tucked in here, it would also work your pelvic floor. But I'm going to say, go for it segmentally. Simply zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals. Take your navels towards the spine, and while you're doing that, we're going to breathe in through the nose and exhale through pursed lips. Okay, lovely. So you're sort of blowing out a candle through pursed lips as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals. That's going to support your spine. The pelvic floor is linked to the corset muscle running around your spine. 3 layers deep, the transverse abdominis. And while you're doing this, you're zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out the abdominals like I said, but you're breathing in through the nose whenever you like and exhaling through pursed lips. Just simply allowing that simplicity to relax your mind at will. Lovely. And as you do that, as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals right now, you'll feel that breath go anywhere but your belly button, but go into these lower lobes of lungs, the intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but your stomach. Because as you, right now, zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, that breath can go nowhere apart from the belly. It can go nowhere, it can't go into the belly, so it go into these lower lobes of lungs, the intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but the stomach, basically. And that will naturally happen. Okay, that naturally happens right now as you're doing this. You're zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips. Safe in the knowledge that breath goes anywhere but your belly button, but goes low and deep into these fish gills, 3D style. Keep breathing in organ deep, cell deep, even bone marrow deep, into these lower lobes of lungs, intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but your stomach. Lovely. Again, just to further emphasise that's happening, we're going to just get these two middle fingers touching underneath what we call the xiphoid process, the sternum, the breastbone, palms on the lower lobes of lungs. As you, right now, zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, keep breathing in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips. Okay, and I'm overemphasising this, but you might just be doing this a millimetre. What's happening is, as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals, you'll feel that breath coming into these hands, the lower lobes of lungs, and these two middle fingers slightly parting and coming back to touch each other. Just moving like seaweed on the bottom of the seabed to the sides and back. Might only be a millimetre or so, doesn't have to be as much as I did it. But them fingers will be moving like seaweed on the bottom of the seabed to the sides and back. Just adding width to your lungs as you breathe in, and length to the out breath. As you exhale through pursed lips, you're sort of blowing out a candle through pursed lips. Right now, you can't go wrong. That breath only goes into them lower lobes of lungs. As you let the hands down, with that further awareness and assurance, that breath only goes into them lower lobes of lungs, intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but your stomach. Lovely. Keep your shoulders down. They will try and take over. Like I say, 80% of us are overactive in these upper traps. Just keep these shoulders down. As you zip up the pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals right now, just keep breathing through the nose whenever you like. And exhaling through pursed lips. Lovely. As if you're blowing out a candle through pursed lips. Lovely. That's what we call lateral thoracic breathing. Okay. It helps us use our pelvic floor and our corset muscle 3 layers deep, which is wrapping around our spine. Right now. Okay. Lovely. Even imagine someone's open an umbrella inside your rib cage and letting go, or someone's just pushing out from inside your ribs and letting go. That lovely, free, expansive breath. Keep breathing in organ deep, cell deep, even bone marrow deep, into them lower lobes of lungs, intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but your stomach. Lovely. Even imagine someone's wrapped a scarf tightly around your ribs and you breathe into that scarf wide and full. Now, as you're doing that right now, we're just going to get a little bit of awareness as you're still zipping up pelvic floor and scooping out your abdominals. Breathe in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips, still allowing that simplicity to relax your mind. While you're doing that, I want to get these thumbs from the hips all the way round to me, just to let you be aware of where your B-line is, bikini line, belt line, whatever you want to call that. Hips to there. Lovely. And as you're doing this B-line, everything below the B-line, okay, here is your pelvic floor. Everything above is your corset muscle, 3 layers deep, wrap around your spine to segmentally stabilise the spine. These two muscles go together. Okay, again, pelvic floor, okay, lower, above this B-line, it's the corset muscle, the powerhouse, the girdle strength, 3 layers deep. It's all segmentally stabilising your spine. Lovely. The transverse abdominis links on like cling film on that B line, bikini line, belt line, pelvic floor lower, and corset muscle higher. Okay, them two muscles go together. As we're doing this, we're going to breathe in, and it's if you cough or sneeze, you'll feel them two muscles go together. On one of the breaths, cough or sneeze, okay, the pelvic floor and the corset muscle go together. But as we let these, we keep these there for now, we breathe in through the nose whenever you like. And on an exhale, we're going to go. That's like that cough or sneeze. That helps us throw on that corset and zip up pelvic floor without even trying or trying or trying. Even easier as we breathe in whenever you like. Use that lovely resonant out breath to work like a cough or a sneeze. That's going to throw on that corset and zip up pelvic floor without even trying or trying not to try. let them hands down, we'll have that further assurance and awareness then that them muscles work together. You can't do one without the other. Pelvic floor and corset muscles go together with that lovely resonant out breath. Really, you can really overdo it if you like. Breathing in, and it's that really throws on that corset and zips up pelvic floor without even trying or trying not to try. That lovely resonant out breath really help you do that even easier than what you are, and even more efficiently now as you've got that awareness what's going on. The pelvic floor and the corset muscles there. And again, that awareness makes it easier. Sometimes a little bit like an amnesia. Forget these muscles are there. If you know where they are and they're there, or helps you use them even easier than you already are now, right now, as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals and keep breathing in through the nose, whenever you like, and exhale through pursed lips. Simply ride on the wave of that resonant out breath. Lovely. Now we're going to do this in our breath synchronized movement, vinyasa way. Again, bare pushing the wall. Going to really modify it. Here's the usual one. So again, they come from here. Horse riding stance. Again, some will go up, or some stay down there. Again, here, turn in. But we're going to modify it. First levels, then we go to that. So again, stand up high. Again, I'd say feet slightly wide and hip width apart. And again, from here, turn. Okay, and just a little turn. If it hurts the knees or something like that, you breathe in, turn. You can just do that, or you can go a little bit wider. Again, if your feet, you don't want your feet completely Charlie Chaplin or completely to the front, you can, on the horse riding stance, you can have them sort of out like an angle, horse riding stance. Just here, so not completely Charlie Chaplin, not, just slightly out there. And as you come down, you turn, you breathe in, come back, and you exhale. Again, if you don't want to go in deep, you've got trouble with the knees, then fine, you can shorten the stance or not go down as deep. Again, play around it, see what suits you. Again, if you do want to go wider, I would still use the Iyengar Yoga principles going no further than knees, alignment, toes. Okay, that Iyengar Yoga alignment to here. If you want to turn all the way around, you're fine with that, that's great. And it's, you're bringing the obliques, the side ab muscles. It's just movement at the end of the day as we exhale here. If you do want to come down deeper, go out deeper. But again, I would go no lower than knees and lower toes. Personally, I would go just before you get, if you do go deep, you get a right angle there. So right angle's in, knee and lower hip, I'll go just before that. I would personally I'm keeping the Iyengar Yoga principles there. Again, exhale. Shoulders down, lengthen up for the crown. I'm really overdoing it. That exhale helps you throw in that corset. Like I say, if you don't want to go that deep, that's fine. Stay up high. But again, basics just motion at the end of the day. Obviously, within the traditional Qigong, our belly breathing, they believe that twisting motion help the internal organs, the kidneys, etc. And also the governing vessel and the conception vessel running up the spine, getting movement on that. And that stimulates all the meridians in the body. But again, we're gathering, we're doing the opposite here. Just more, just the Pilates principles in this motion. Like I say, I will do this in a traditional Qigong manner and do some other versions of breathing. But again, at the end of the day, it's just movement. Don't get too caught up in it's specifically this, etc. It's just a movement at the end of the day. Modify it to suit you. Remember, it's your union of your mind and body, no one else's. Modify that. If you've come out, bad car accident, anything, I wouldn't, and you've got trouble with the knees, I wouldn't go so low. I wouldn't go knees over toes in the squat. Some disagree with that, that's fine, but I'm sticking to the Iyengar Yoga principles of alignment. If you stick your tailbone down, I personally won't go to here, complete right angle. Again, you might be fine with it, you might be an athletic person, great. I'll go just before that. And again, breathe in. Really fire that exhale through the walls, and you're pushing up for the hips. Sorry, the heels, should I say. These are organic, they're coming up from the ground. Lovely, so that's the end of there, pushing a wall for a traditional one. And again, that's the end of that Pilates Qigong mix. Bang, lovely.